Welcome, my friends, ladies and gentlemen. It's Aaron Parker, and I'm so excited to be with you today once again to celebrate another brand new, mic check. We're good. Brand new 5K affiliate, Christopher Celeste. What's up, my friend?
What's going on? How are you, brother?
I'm excited. Come on, y'all, get excited. I want everybody watching this before we dive into the training to drop a quick like on this video. We are only streaming on YouTube today. So for those of you that are watching on YouTube, drop a like, drop a comment. If you're watching live, you can actually chat in the little chat box and you can interact with us and let us know who's on, who's here, who's excited, and be sure to take notes because Christopher's story is awesome. He's just blazing a trail right now, creating tremendous success with My Daily Choice. And we are very excited to be here to celebrate the success that Christopher's having. I do want to show everybody something really quick because I was racing to get here for this interview because this morning the beaches opened locally. And I don't normally do this, but we're just so grateful for this business because we get to do things like on a Monday. We just brought our kids, and one of those is not mine. Mine are the two kids on the left. And we just said, you know what? Monday morning, the beach is just opened. Let's go. And so we were there at the beach. It was not very many people. And it's just amazing that on a Monday that we're able to just anytime we want up and leave, go anywhere, take a trip. Kathy and I are planning a last minute trip to Vegas in a couple weeks. So it really just shows what's possible with this business and the freedom that is available with this type of business. So really excited, just super grateful for everything this business has done for our family. And it's because of an amazing team. And the mission that we're on is to be able to help people create success, help people rank, advance. And that's exactly what we're here to talk about today. So Christopher Celeste, what's up, my friend?
How are you?
I'm doing great. All right, so we only just met through the interwebs over the last month. And so we're going to dive into your story a little bit and how you created success quickly with MDC. But let's first share with everyone who's watching, who are you? Give us a little bit of backstory.
Sure, yeah. You can hear me okay?
Loud and clear.
All right, perfect. So first of all, I just want to say thank you for this opportunity to share and give back. I always am grateful to not only your leadership and your support, but the giving us the opportunity to have this moment to really share how we did things so that everyone can benefit. And I think that's really awesome. So I wanted to say thank you for that. So like Aaron said, my name is Chris Celeste. I just recently got started here with MDC in the second week of March. However, that's not where my story started. So for me, the best place to start for you guys would be when I joined the military. So first 17 years of my life, born and raised in a very small town in the Catskill Mountains of New York State, and decided to join the military and not go to college. College just didn't appeal to me. It didn't make any sense to me. I wanted to serve my country, especially after everything that happened in 9/11. I still remember sitting there in math class in my high school when that happened, and having this profound fire light in my gut that something like that needs someone to stand up in the face of it. And so I decided while I was still in high school that I was going to join the military, that there was no other way about it. So when I was 17 years old, I actually enlisted into the United States Army. I had my parents sign the waiver so I could join early. And that was the last time I ever stepped foot in a traditional school. Became a scout for the United States Army. I was with the 371 Cav out of Fort Drum. They were my family. And we deployed to Afghanistan. Was in Afghanistan for almost a year, received several injuries. Finally, I had one that brought me home, brought me to Walter Reed. I was flatlined for over a week. I was on life support. The doctors in Germany saved my life. And, I would not be here today if it wasn't for those doctors and for the two fellow soldiers who found me when I first collapsed. If it wasn't for all of that, I wouldn't be here today. So extremely grateful for that. But what ended up happening for me is, I was a scout. Like I said, that's a combat arms job in the military. So I didn't really learn any practical business or real world skills. I was learning how to move silently, how to kill the enemy, how to remember and spot things, all reconnaissance style jobs. So when I got out of the military, not only was I just recently hurt, I had no college to fall back on, no business training. To me, it seemed like there was no light at the end of the tunnel. That, at 19 years old, I was broken and I was just discarded in my mind. For the next decade almost, I believed that, and I chose to live a very destructive lifestyle. I chose to use escapism instead of dealing with reality. And because of that and the 11 pills a day the VA had me on, I became an addict. I started abusing and using prescription drugs. I started using and abusing basically anything I get my hands on, as long as I didn't have to think or be conscious with my memories. I went down that road. I'm going to fast forward a little bit. I went down that road and, it got to a point where I couldn't look myself in the mirror anymore, and decided one day I woke up and decided it was time to go to rehab. Had my father drive me up to the Albany VA, where I did 45 days of inpatient rehab, and I have not touched a hardcore narcotic since. I still, to this day, I enjoy a good bourbon and a beer. I have my cannabis card here in Arizona, but I can honestly tell you wholeheartedly, I have not touched a hard narcotic since. And that was like the first step for me. For me, escapism was a Band-Aid, right? It was a symptom of the underlying problem I wasn't dealing with. And it was the thing that really helped me no longer go back to those things was being able to be courageous in dealing with the things I was running away from. The survivor's guilt, some of the things that I had to deal with while I was overseas. And I started to get my life back a little bit. We ended up moving to Arizona shortly after that. I was able to get off a lot of the prescription pills that were needed for my quality of life, according to the VA, which is kind of crazy when you look at it, though, because some of those pills they were giving me were literally just counteracting the side effects from some of the other ones they told me I needed. So it's mind-blowing how that's even a system that they think works. But, moving to Arizona, I was able to start getting my quality of life back. I got on a medical marijuana, the cannabis here in Arizona. I still have to take one medication a day, Keppra. I have a 3-inch scar on the front right of my brain from an IED TBI that I received in Afghanistan. And because of that, I ended up developing a seizure disorder. It's not exactly epilepsy, but I do have seizures, and they're grand mal. I completely lose consciousness. It's the same thing. But for me, I have to maintain that one medication or I can get myself in serious trouble with the law. I won't be able to have a license. But for everything else, me and my wife and I decided that there had to be a more all natural, there had to be a better way to live a better quality of life than what I was currently going through. And so for me, the answer was turning over to hemp products, cannabis, CBD, things like all natural supplements that, were allowing me to live that better quality of life. And so, I moved to Arizona. I was able to get off those pills. I was able to get on a proper treatment program, and I was able to start having the things in my life that were actually giving me better quality of life rather than take it away from it. And that's when I decided that, I could actually do more with myself, that I wasn't this broken, discarded thing, that I, despite my disabilities that I would have to work with on a daily basis, that I could actually become what I deemed successful in this world. And I was fighting with that feeling, off and on, but never really understanding how to jump into it and do anything about it. And then I was at a friend's barbecue, and my best friend asked me to start a business with him. And that was a mobile autoglass business, not online, not, anything like we get to leverage here, but that was old school brick and mortar service, pound the pavement, talk to people, kind of business. And what ended up happening, we did really well. But what ended up happening for me is I was literally still trading all of my time for money. Every waking hour in that business required my attention in order for it to run properly. And I'm making it sound like I'm ungrateful for it, and I don't want to sound like that because I am incredibly grateful for that business. When I first started that business, my PTSD was so bad, I couldn't even get on a phone. Couldn't even pick up my phone and talk on it without almost losing consciousness, my heart pounding out of my chest, my palms sweating, my head just going blank. And so, I'm very thankful and grateful for that business because it showed me that through repetition of being uncomfortable, that I could master things I never thought possible, and why I have success today. And so I'm very grateful for that business, but it did have a huge flaw. I did not have any automation. I was if I wasn't awake and working, I was not making money. And it got to the point where I was literally watching my family go on vacations without me. They were going back home and visiting family, or they were going to Florida, and they were going to all these places, and I wasn't able to go. I wasn't able to leave the business. And it really came to a head for me. You know, that line in the sand moment, as we call it for me, was I was sitting in my home office and, you know, doing the logistics for that auto glass business at the time. And my son, who was 2, walked in the office and just, you know, in his complete innocence, wanted to know why daddy never wanted to play with him, why daddy never had the time to play with him. Now, it wasn't as elegantly said as that, but that was the premise of what he said to me. And it ripped my heart out of my chest. I immediately started crying. I didn't know, really couldn't figure out for myself, where had I gone wrong, right? See, to me, in my mind, at that point, I had success. I owned my own home. I was married. My family was healthy. We were doing well. I had my beautiful son at the time. I didn't have my other 2 kids yet. You know, everything was supposed to be in order. I was supposed to have success according to society, according to the mainstream idea of it. But yet I was sitting there bawling my eyes out, feeling hollow and empty and just completely defeated. And while I was sitting there in my office, I usually have music. Back then I had music on. Now I usually have some sort of inspirational, motivational or audiobook. But the music ended and an ad actually popped up. And the ad was for freelance affiliate marketing, leveraging the internet. And for me, it just started to make sense. I was already sitting on a computer. I was already using all of my time in a business. Why wouldn't I want to use a business that has the ability to do things and get paid for them into the future, rather than having to constantly repeat and do more and constantly be moving and moving and moving? And so I decided to jump in. Now, that was October of 2017. That company, you know, it was very significant amount of money to get started there. You're talking tens of thousands of dollars to get that education and get started there. I did not have that money on me at the time. I didn't have close to even the down payment for that at the time. Yeah, I was doing well in life, but I was spending way more than I was saving. I wasn't very business minded yet. And so I had to actually reach out to my sister and ask her for a loan to get started in the online industry, to really build a business and get started. And so graciously, she gave it to me. I didn't think she would. You know, she knew who I was before then. I had never given her a reason to show her yet that I was going to be, you know, building great success for myself or anything like that. You know, I was still stuck working that other business. She hadn't really seen any of that of me, but I guess she had seen enough to have faith in me, to believe in me enough to give me that money. And I started that journey, like I said, in October of 2017. And then on January of 2018, 4 months later, I went full-time online. I just dove in, you know, that became my full-time income. That became everything I was doing. Mainly because 2 months later, I started making over 5 figures a month in that business and just started absolutely crushing it. And it changed my perception of what was possible leveraging the internet. For somebody like myself with no experience, no business know-how, I mean, I barely used Facebook to stay in touch with people. To be able to jump on and follow an education and be able to leverage that to make money blew my mind. Now, like anybody on here who has been in business for a while, you know that not all companies last forever. This one is one of those. It ended up going out under, you know, it's no longer in business. It's no longer exists. I'm very grateful again for that company, because I wouldn't be here today without them, but they don't exist anymore. And I found myself sitting in a place with a new skill set with a bunch of people who looked up to me and relied on me to lead the way. And I had no vehicle to lead them anymore. I had no way of showing them, you know, leveraging other people's stuff to get them where they had to go. And it just became a realization to me that it was time to step up and build my own. And so I founded a company called the DVI, the Digital Veterpreneurs Initiative. So it's an education platform that is teaching veterans and first responders and active duty military the ins and outs, the A to Z's of freelance digital marketing. But when I started that company, I made one fatal mistake looking back. Hindsight's 2020, right? I didn't see it at the time. I see it now. I gave up all the things that got me to the place where I was. I stopped promoting offers. I stopped putting myself in the trenches, and I focused solely on educating and teaching. And I was able to help many people, but it never turned into the thing I thought it was going to be. It never jumped into this grand impact that I wanted it to be. And when I took some hard looks in the mirror and some realizations with myself, it came down to the point that I was no longer in the trenches. I was no longer practicing the things that got me where I needed to go, that got me to the place I had seen success at. And so I started getting serious about finding an offer again, about getting in the trenches and getting started, doing the things that got me to success. And I was actually going to do a go live about this yesterday, because whenever I'm searching for something like that, it never shows its face. It never shows itself. It's the moment I surrender to the fact that I surrender to the fact that it doesn't need to take all of my time and effort to find it, that if I surrender to the universe giving it to me, that it provides it. And it's in those moments that it always comes to me, sitting there crying in my office, broken. It provided itself. And this time it did it again. I happened to go to a good friend's birthday party. I wasn't expecting to talk business. I wasn't expecting to get, any kind of business, anything. I was just going to have a good time. And I ended up meeting my sponsor in this business, Aaron Rashkin, who you interviewed yesterday. That was fire. And just through conversations, it just made sense to learn more about what he was doing. He was in the world of CBD. He was in network marketing. I had personally been using, like I said, cannabis and CBD for years up to that point to help me live a better quality of life. My issue, though, and this is something that I hadn't really shared before until recently, is that I had gotten so fed up with the inconsistency and the unreliability of CBD that I almost had given up completely on it. I was strictly using cannabis sativa to alleviate a lot of my pains, rather than using CBD to be more productive and alleviate the pains. And through talking to Aaron and finding out more about, the amazing things that set this CBD apart from everything else out there on the market, I got really interested again. I got really, really receptive to what he was saying, because it made more sense to me. I was looking for reliable, consistent, reliable quality, and he was offering it. And so I jumped in about a week. It was probably a month later, I think. Actually, it wasn't. I called him a week later, and then a month later, I jumped in. Sorry, guys. The scar in my brain is not the best with short-term memory and timelines, so I do my best to do it. So I jumped in, and I've been consistently using these products now for almost 60 days. I can tell you that I have never lived a better quality of life than I am right now. I've never slept better, had more energy, been able to communicate and think clearer than I am right now in this time in my life. And I do truly believe that I owe that to this brand. And I got started in this industry because of the products, right? Because the products made sense to me, and I was already looking for something, and it all lined up perfectly with what I was going to do. And when I noticed what was possible here, and I had my first 2 weeks in the company, and I saw what was going on, I decided, you know what? I'm staking my flag here. Not only was I able to improve my quality of life, I've been able to watch my team's life get improved, not only financially, but also their quality of life being improved all across the board. I have other people on my team with me who have TBIs and other cognitive things that they're dealing with that I have never seen a fire in their eyes like I do right now. And it's truly putting a fire in my gut and making me go on a mission even more than I was before, because I'm literally watching transformations in front of my eyes. And so I just get fired up. That's one of the main reasons I truly believe that, and I'm sure I'll touch in on some actual technical things here shortly, but that I did so much momentum in April, that I was able to really jump in and take this thing by fire, is because I saw right in front of me, not only myself being transformed, but the people I was working with, the other people in the company, and people being set free with this opportunity. And I have never been in a company or an opportunity or an organization that has been so duplicatable so quickly, that got me so passionate and so lit on fire than I have here right now. And that's why I'm so proud to be a part of this company and leading a team under this banner.
Bam! Wow. I mean, guys, incredible story. Just everything that you shared, Chris, the whole backstory, all the challenges that you've gone through, from, almost dying, and, the military background. And of course, thank you for your service, fellow Marine here. So, freedom's not free. It's something that we all have to be grateful for. So your story is just very powerful. And I know that there's a lot of people watching right now live, maybe some of you watching the recording. There's people that that need to hear Chris's story. So share this video with them. And also you talked about April. I want to give you a quick shout out here because last month, Christopher, along with his sponsor, Aaron Rashkin, Chris was in the top of the entire company on the global leaderboard. So give it up and big congrats to Chris on hitting that global leaderboard in April. And it also promoted him last month to 5K affiliate. And that is why we're here to celebrate Chris Celeste on hitting 5K affiliate. And so what I'd love to do is you did talk about getting started and how Aaron met you and started talking to you. I would love for you to reverse engineer a little bit of what did Aaron do, just quickly, like the super quick version, because I want everyone to be thinking right now, how you guys realize that Chris and Aaron, they didn't know each other. And so this is important, right? We're getting into training, right? You're hearing Chris's story. It's incredible, but we're going to get into some training. And for those of you that are here to learn, you want to eliminate your distractions, take some notes, engage with us in the comments, because you're going to learn some things right now that if you'll pay attention and if you'll apply in your business, you're going to get more results. And so the first thing that I'm hearing is that, and this, I bring this up because how would you, everyone watching, how would you like to recruit a Chris Celeste in your team? How many of you? Guy's on fire, hit 5K his first full month in the business. Guess what? His sponsor didn't know him. It was basically cold market. So how many people are you interacting with on a daily basis? Whether it's at a party, which is where Aaron and Chris met, or it's just out and about, or it's a friend of a friend. Think of all the people you know that you're not talking to. People that need these products, people that need this business. So we all need to start talking more, right? So tell us quickly, reverse engineer, what exactly did Aaron say? What were some of the things he said? And what was the process that he took you through to get you started with MDC and the Power Team?
Yeah, so I think one of the most important things to point out, and Aaron always does too when he's talking about this story, is that he never tried to recruit me. Like that was never his intention. He was truly just sharing his business with me. We were two business owners talking. And, I got really interested when I heard that he was dealing in CBD. So I started asking him questions and he was just casually answering them. So, I was like, well, what company is it? What sets you guys apart? He was like, oh, it's all natural. Everything's grown right here in Kentucky, which got me super excited. So being a patriot, a veteran, made in America, hell yeah, let's do this. And he started just sharing, hemp seal of approval, things that for me, it being, like I said, almost deterred from the industry completely because of the inconsistency and unreliability of it being like the Wild West. He started sharing things with me that kind of solidified in me that wasn't the case here. So, third-party verified testing on every batch, hemp seal of approval, started mentioning how it's globally expanding. And it definitely grabbed my interest. And I was like, okay, well, what kind of products do you offer? And different tinctures, topical creams, gummies. Perfect. That's exactly what I'd be looking for. So that was it. That was like the end of that conversation. We went on to play some games for a little bit. And I kept asking him and kept getting more information from him. Finally, Aaron was like, why don't we just go outside for a little bit? Let's have a little chat. And I was like, perfect. So I just kept asking him more information, like how long you've been doing it, how big's the team. I'd already heard from a mutual friend. He was a 25-year veteran. So the things he was saying to me, I wasn't just taking with a grain of salt. I'm the kind of person that when I see someone who has achieved mastery, I try to soak it up like a sponge. I'm trying to be able to take that and apply it to what I'm doing. So we're outside talking, and it turned out that we actually were friends on Facebook. We just hadn't known each other. We had linked up on Facebook, had never talked until that night, but we had linked up. So we were about to exchange information and realized that we already had done that. And so we left the conversation basically at, here's what I'm doing. If you're interested, after this whole party and everything is done, reach out to me. That was basically how Aaron left it with me. It was never a full-on sales pitch. It was never, anything that elaborate. It was just answering my basic questions about the company, about the products that stirred enough in me that I reached back out to him. And then he sent me the same process. And that's one thing I want to add to you, or to share with everybody, that I found to be really profound with Aaron Rashkin, is that he is one of the first mentors I've had that sent me through the system and didn't have me circumvent the system. So something that comes sometimes when you have a reputation a little bit, and I try to be humble always, but I've had success, right? So when people hear about that sometimes in other organizations, when they've recruited me in, they basically just said, okay, here's everything, go. Instead of actually sending me through the same system I was going to be sending people through. And so what Aaron did that I found to be very valuable was like, no, here's my link, go through the exact same process everyone's going to go through, get the exact same information. That way, when it's your turn to turn around and go do that, you can duplicate it. You're not circumventing the system. And so that was huge for me because, like I said in the past, other companies hadn't done that for me. And I was sitting there wondering, like, okay, what's the best course of action? What are other people doing? And I have to reach out and find out rather than just experience it myself. And so Aaron did the same thing that I do for everybody, that I'm sure everybody in this company does. We gave them the resources provided for us to give them the information. And I was able to take the tour, blown away by the tour, absolutely blew me away. And I was trying to log back into the same link instead of doing the other way so I can hold my power line. I was getting crazy. I eventually just had to call him and be like, how do I get back in there to buy? How do I get back in to do what I have to do? But, when it comes down to it, the things that I take away from the way Aaron took me into this is he wasn't pushy. He wasn't salesy. He just gave me the information I was looking for so that I can come to a conclusion on my own. And then he didn't circumvent the system, didn't have me circumvent the system. He actually gave me the system and then said, go through it. And that's the exact thing I do for everybody that comes in. And in my opinion, one of the reasons that I was able to have great success quickly is I didn't try to reinvent anything. I didn't try to come in here and make it better. I didn't try to come in here and put my spin on it. I did use my own words, but I didn't try to recreate or make it something it's not. I looked at what was working, what I had just gone through that worked to get me started, and I just turned around and duplicated it. I just kept it very simple, and it worked.
I love that. So for everyone who's watching, Power Team, and anyone who's here that's maybe not a part of the Power Team, I just want to piggyback on what Chris just said because it's so important. A lot of times when you have prospects who are interested or they want to take a look or they want to see what's up or maybe they're like ready to join right now, I actually do what Aaron Rashkin does, and that is I make people go through the process. Even if someone's like, I'm ready, I want to sign up. I'm like, okay, great. But you're going to go through you're going to go through the system. You're going to go through the process. Why? Because you want your new person, your prospect, your new affiliate to be aware of the process so that they can then, like Chris said, duplicate that with all of their prospects. And that's, I believe, why Chris is having so much success, because Aaron set him up properly. And Chris is not trying, like he said, to reinvent things, do things his own way. He's just sticking with the system, ABC 1, 2, 3, plugging people in, and it's working. Yep. So I love that. Thank you so much for that, Chris. All right, so you get started, you're loving the system, and the several of the interviews that we've done recently were people who got promoted to 5K. Now, if you're watching this, many of you already know what 5K affiliate is. In case you don't, 5K affiliate is the first rank, the first major achievement, accomplishment, rank advancement within our company. And some people hit 5K affiliate fast. Chris is one of them. His first full month in the business, he hits 5K affiliate. And he's going to be sharing with you in a second some of exactly what he did to be able to do that. But most people, it doesn't happen that fast. Actually, the last few interviews, several interviews we did of new 5K affiliates on our team, it was 6 months, 9 months, 12 months. And so I shared that with everyone, and I want to preface the fact that there is no overnight success, right? There are things that Chris did to create 5K affiliate fast, and he's going to share some of those with you. But let's not forget that Chris also had some experience. If you remember in his interview, he came to MDC already having some experience in online marketing and affiliate marketing. He was making a 5-figure monthly income in another business that went out of business. So it's not an overnight success. I just want to make sure everyone understands that there is experience. There's things that he brings to the table that creates success faster. Now, with that being said, success leaves clues. And there are things that he did. And you guys can copy and apply those things in your business to jumpstart and to accelerate all of you hitting 5K affiliate. And that's why we're doing this. This is one of my most favorite things, is being able to interview new leaders who are hitting 5K and up as they go up the ranks, so that the whole team can learn from all the leaders. What are they doing to get results, so that everyone else can also rank up? So for everyone who's watching, if you're serious about hitting 5K affiliate, I just want you to know you can do it. We believe in you. And the only way you will not hit 5K is if you quit. It's the only way. So you just have to keep putting in the work, keep learning, keep growing, keep applying the information, and you will get there. The speed at which you get there is up to you. So with that, Chris, let's talk about some of what you did, right?
Yep.
What are some of the specific things you did when you first got started to start generating success quickly? Talk to us.
Yeah, sure. So I just want to touch, I'm glad that you brought that up, right? Because experience does play into it, but I want to touch on something, because I feel that one of the big objections, obstacles, issues that I deal with right now is that when people talk to me and I'm talking to them about what I've done, they're like, oh, well, Chris, you have all this experience already. You already have all these resources that you can fall back on that can help you have success. And so you hit on it. I do have experience. That's been my full-time income now. Marketing has been my full-time income now for 2.5 years. And so I do have experience. That is absolutely correct. But I want to be really clear, guys, when I joined MDC and I didn't circumvent the system, I also reached out to my sponsor and I said, hey, listen, I'm going to build this funnel. I'm going to do all these things because that's my background. That's how I was making money in the affiliate world, building funnels and doing automation. And Aaron was like, why? What? That doesn't work here. He's like, I gave you what works. Why don't you just go do that? And so it was a kind of an eye-opening thing for me. And I was like, oh, wait, I can't use my resources. I can't use the skill sets I've built for myself. And so what I did was I didn't use my business fan pages or any of the things that I have built over these last 2.5 years. I literally turned to my personal profile, like the training said to do, which was only 200 or 2,500 people at the time. And I started to post daily. I started to use the messenger scripts. I started to reach out to people. I mentioned earlier, and this is something that is a huge component to what I do. And I just wanted to emphasize, guys, like I am experienced, but I did not use the resources. I'm just like you. I stepped in and followed the system and started leveraging something that was not already established asset for myself. But what I did do is I applied my experience and my knowledge and my ability to track things pretty well into what I was doing now. And, I have this ability. I learned this thing because it was a necessity for me, because with the scar in my brain, I can forget things very easily, especially short-term things. And so for me, it's very important to record a lot of things. I'm constantly recording on my phone or something on paper. And so for me to have success here, for me to really take things and bring them to the next level, I knew I had to build myself a system of tracking. And so for me, and I've shared this before, it's just a notebook. It's just a simple notebook that I write the person's name down that I'm having the conversation with or I'm contacting. I put the date on the left-hand side that I last spoke to them. And on the right-hand side, I little indications, and I was former military, so everything for me is abbreviations and stuff. So I save space and time, but it lets me know the last important thing I need to know about that person. For example, there was a woman whose son who just recently had his first seizure. I know how much that sucks, guys. I did a freaking gainer off a 3-foot stoop the first time I ever had a seizure. I know how unworldly that feeling is. And so when I heard this little boy was having it, I put that in my notes, because not because I was going to sell them something, but because I wanted to know how he was doing so I could follow up with them. And these are little things in conversation that you're going to be having with people when you're connecting with them that I wouldn't necessarily say it's ammo to get the sale, but it's a way to connect. It's a piece of humanity that allows you to relate with this person. And so that's just like a mindset shift. I know a lot of people out there, they're like, oh, gather the ammo. It's like, no, this is something we can connect on. And so those are little indications that I put next to the person so that I know what like the conversation I had with them. And it makes it a lot easier for me to relight that conversation and continue it with them in the future. I never let anybody who I've talked to about the business go more than 24 hours without hearing from me. And if they've received my links, it's usually 1 hour. 1 hour is more than enough time to go through a 40-minute tour plus testimonials. And so within 1 hour, they're going to hear from me. Hey, what was your favorite part of the free training or the free tour? What was the thing that stood out to you the most? Open-ended questions that make them start up the conversation again. This is all stuff that, I learned through Aaron Rashkin being here. What I did previous to this was automation. I wasn't getting on the phone or, closing people or connecting with people on a personal level. I was allowing my message and what I had built do it for me online. I was able to be wherever I wanted, traveling, sleeping, doing whatever. So this is all a new skill. So I just want to share that with you guys because, yes, I have experience, but I'm no different than anybody on this call. And what I did and what I applied, anybody here could do it. And that's really what it did, right? I didn't circumvent the system. And I applied exactly what I went through into what I was doing. So I would get someone's attention with a post or a message or any of the things that I was being trained to do, or talking to them in a regular conversation before all this happened, and finding out how I can help them. What's going on in their life? What are the pains going on for them right now? And do I have a solution that can help them? And if I do, then it becomes my responsibility to ask the right questions to see if it would be a good fit. And if it is, then it is my obligation to give them that solution. It's not my obligation for them to accept it, but it is my obligation to give it to them. I am responsible to not, I just dove into this person and pulled out their pain. I'm not going to walk away and leave them there in it. I'm going to give them their solution. I'm going to give them the ability to move past it and have a better life, better quality of life always. And so for me, I'm going to have a brain fart. I can feel it coming. Woo.
Bro, listen, you're dropping some bombs. Who's getting some value right now? Hope you guys are seeing this in the comments. I'm putting it on the screen to try to just let all of this sink in for everybody. You're posting daily. You're using the scripts daily. You're connecting with all of your Facebook friends, 2,500 friends. And I would venture to say you probably did it quickly.
Yeah.
I like to say success loves speed. So for you to hit 5K affiliate your first full month, were you like, oh, let's see, I could probably reach out to like 3 people today and tomorrow maybe 2 or 3 people? Or was it like, let me see how fast I can get through these 2,500 people? Were you going fast or slow?
Very fast.
Very fast.
Yeah.
And a couple other things you said. You're taking notes, guys. He's taking notes on his conversations. This is so big. Most people don't do this. Most people don't do it. For me, I don't have a notebook. I just don't. Do I think it's a great idea? Absolutely. Okay, guys, this right here is what you call a success secret. Chris is giving you one of his success secrets. Are you willing to take it? Are you willing to implement it? Now, I will say I do the same thing. My way of using a notebook is Facebook Messenger. So if I'm connecting with someone, if I'm interacting with someone, as I'm following up with them, I'll go through our messages and I'll kind of see what the conversation was. What did we talk about? What is it they're looking for? What is the pain that they're going through? And I can see that from the conversations we had on Messenger. I can go to their Facebook profile very quickly and learn a little bit more about them. And so when you get someone's attention through a Facebook post or a private message, you then need to find their pain. Would you guys agree that everyone, most people, okay, there's unicorns. Are there some unicorns out there that have the perfect life and that have no pain and everything is perfect, right? There's 1 in a million. But most people have some type of pain. Somebody who has tons of money, right? They don't have enough time. Somebody who has time doesn't have any money. Maybe it's a health challenge they're going through. Most people have some pain that you can uncover. And when you uncover that, it is like Chris said, it's our responsibility to give them the solution. How could we be so selfish to not share that solution with someone when we know it can help them? So incredible stuff, Chris. You went fast. Can you talk about some of the prospecting that you did? You talked about follow-up. Anything else you can share on those specific things you did?
Yeah, so I actually just went over this with the whole team on Friday because they were like, Chris, what are your daily mode of operation? So I actually broke it down for them. And I added a few new things thanks to last Tuesday's corporate training. That was pretty fire, that blitz training they did. So for me, what it was is getting into Messenger every day. So very first thing I do is jump into birthdays. Birthdays are, it's the best way to stay in touch with people anyway. So I jump right in there first thing and I send people a happy birthday message. I'm not selling them. I'm just connecting with them. And I'm looking to see if they're still connecting with me. That's really what I'm doing. I'm sending them a happy birthday, sending them good intentions. And if they reconnect with me, then I know, hey, listen, we got some sort of connection going on here. We have a friendship. You can stay on the list. I'm really just I'm a marketer through and through. So I'm always sifting and sorting. And so I'm trying to see if this person's engaging with me, is there a connection? If not, you got to get off the list because this is a business for me. And it's not just about connecting with people. It's about serving them. And if I can't serve you, then I only have 5,000 people I can on this list. And I need to put somebody on there I can serve. And so, again, it might be a little bit different for some of you, but Facebook for me is a business to serve people. So that's how I look at it. And so birthdays are a great way to connect. And then right after I'm done connecting with those I already have on my list, I need to go grow my list some more. So I'm going to Grant Cardone's, Eric Thomas, Mark Cuban, just to name Damon John, name a few. I'll go on their pages. I'll see what kind of activity is going on there. I'll engage. I'll talk with a few people. I'll send some friend requests. I'll send them a
Yo, Chris, you there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, you broke up. Keep going.
Okay. So very first thing is friends. Very first thing is birthdays. I go into birthdays and connect with people. The very next thing I do is I'm going to expand my friends list. I'm going to grow my leads a little bit more, the cold market. So I go out and I start growing and engaging. I do that before I post as well, so that Facebook knows that I'm here to play and I'm not just here to promote, and they'll give me more reach when I put my posts out. Another big thing that I do is I don't just message 10 or 20 or 30 people a day. I message until I talk to 10 to 20 people a day. I don't just send them and hope for the best. I send them until I connect, because I want to have those conversations in a day, at least 10 conversations in a day with a new person. And then I'm also following up with the people who I have on the list for that day to follow up with. I actually have a follow-up call as soon as I'm done with this interview with somebody. So, I'm very detailed and scheduled in what I do. And it's a huge component to how I get to stay so productive and in the zone. If I let things just be fly by night and told myself, oh, I'll remember to follow up with that person, I wouldn't. I'd forget. And I'd drop the ball. And I've dropped the ball way too many times and had myself and other people suffer for it in the past before I started doing marketing, that I didn't want to bring that into the marketing world. I wanted to bring my best version into this. And, that's a whole other topic of me and personal development and how that's helped me. But, on the topic of going 5K, guys, here's the thing I told my team the other night, and I think it's really profound. The answer I got from them was really profound. I asked them, how many of the people in your life right now know you own a business? How many of the people on your friends list, in your phone, in your life right now actually know you own a business? Most of them said a handful.
Ooh, that's a good one.
There isn't a person I know right now that doesn't know I'm in business. Like they see me coming and they're like, Chris, I don't want to talk about it right now. Because that's what gets me fired up. You bring me to a party, a social event, I'm talking business. I'm talking about changing lives, my amazing team, things like that, because that's what I love. That's what I'm passionate about. I'm not usually talking about like Tiger King or whatever the other things that are popular right now. And so, that's something that's really huge with me, is that people know I'm serious. People know that when it comes to business, I take this seriously. And so when they do see me coming, it's usually like, oh, Chris, let's talk about it. Or, let's talk about something else. So that's one thing I told my team. I was like, and then they took the challenge from me. I said, if you guys listened to the last interview, and Aaron hadn't gone yet, so it was Kathleen that was your last interview. And I was like, if you guys watched that last interview, which I hope all of you did, and you heard about the 100 no's, how many of you think that you could put some points on the board pretty quick, put some wins in the column for yourself if you went out there and got yourself 100 no's? And so my team over the weekend accepted the 100 no challenge, and we're going to be touching base tomorrow morning to see who held themselves accountable to go get 100 no's over the weekend. And that's the thing that's powerful about it, right? Is that unless you are purposefully sabotaging yourself, you will never hit that goal without getting a yes. And the real purpose of it, right, is getting you out of your own way. Because here's the thing. The system works. We have too many success stories here to say anything other than that. The products work. Again, too many success stories to say anything other than that. So what's the variable? What's the one variable that's stopping everybody? It's our beliefs about what we can do in our own lives. It's our beliefs about ourselves in business and how we show up in the world. And what I truly believe this challenge does is it doesn't show you that you anything but that when you surrender to the system and you keep it simple, that it works. And I'm excited to talk to the team tomorrow and see how many of them took this seriously. And like you said, earlier, if you went from messaging 3 or 4 people a day to messaging 10 people a day, you didn't take this challenge seriously. In order to get 100 no's, you probably have to talk to 200 people, because you got to think about 100 of them aren't even going to get back to you, aren't even going to return the message. So if you're not sending rapid fire and getting out there in massive action, you're never going to hit that goal anyway. So I just hope that when I talk to them all, I know they're going to say this. I have faith in them, that they went crazy over the weekend, that they were messaging 50 people a day so they can hit their goal of 100 no's or get those points on the board. Because it really is, right? Simple system. You just got to follow it and get out of your own way. And I'm proof of it.
I love it. And guys, the challenge that Kathleen Gregory gave, which was an interview that you can find here on our YouTube channel, just go back to the videos. You can find it was an amazing interview. Another brand new 5K affiliate on the team. She gave a challenge to everybody, was to get 100 no's. And I love that this right here is perfect, because Chris is a 5K, and he takes a challenge from another 5K on the power team and applies that challenge with his team. I mean, this is a perfect example of why the power team is so freaking awesome, because all the leaders learning from each other and applying different strategies they learn from other leaders. And when you go for this challenge to go for 100 no's, you got to remember this right here. Success loves speed. Yeah. You can't just say, I'm going to get 100 no's and do it slowly, because the effect will not work. You've got to go for this fast to see how fast you can blitz to get to 100 no's. And like Chris said, you're not going to get to 100. Somebody's going to say yes before you get to 100. That's kind of the whole point. And it helps you create a breakthrough. It helps you get out of your own way. It helps you to grow. And eventually, the number of people that tell you no before you get a yes, guess what? It's going to start reducing, and it will be less. And then you get a yes. And then it'll be even less people. And then you get a yes. And then it's even less. And then you get a yes. But you've got to go for it. So this is, guys, listen, you're here watching this video for a reason. You want success. You want to hit 5K. These are things that you have to right here, right now, make a decision to go do. Not just talk about it. You got to do it. And bro, your t-shirt is just perfect. You got to show everybody your t-shirt. Guys, everybody take a picture, get your cell phone, look at that. Don't be upset by the results you didn't get with the work you didn't do. Wow. I mean, that's just priceless. And so many times I've done this. It's human nature. We all do it. I hear it all the time. People get upset by the results that they're not achieving, but they're not looking at the work that they didn't do, right? And that's what it comes down to. That, in a nutshell, sums up this whole business. So, Chris, what do you have in closing? Man, this has been a fast hour. We just kind of flew right through this. Incredible interview, amazing story. By the way, for everybody who's watching this, if you're getting some value, drop some likes, drop some comments. Let us know what you liked best so far. And Chris is going to share his final closing thoughts on. Chris, maybe you could share what would you say is a challenge that people are going to be faced with, a challenge either you've faced or you know that people have faced, and you can help them overcome that challenge on this journey.
So something that I don't know if it would be a challenge getting started. I think it's the challenge with success. And it's relevant to me right now. I'm going back through a book by Ryan Holiday called Ego is the Enemy. And I refer to myself as a recovering egotist. I grew up in a household where being humble wasn't really praised. So it's something that I learned later in life is to be humble, is to not have to be the baddest dude in the room. And so this book has done something for me that's been really powerful, because when I start to see success, I have to remind myself that, and like I've fallen victim to it in the past, that you cannot stop the things that you've done to get where you're going. You must forever be a student and never think that you've achieved some pinnacle where you can stop. So for me, if I could have anything be valuable to people, is that when you take yourself on and you take massive action in your business, you know, like Aaron says, success loves speed. Any one of you could go 5K in your first 30 days if you applied yourself properly. So when you hit that rank, like I just did, and this is, you know, advice always comes from self-talk. And so when you hit the rank, stay consistent in the efforts that got you there. Do not stop doing the things that you need to be doing on a daily basis. Consistency is going to be the key to long-term success, not just fast success. And so if I could tell you anything, it's to continue to be a student. Even if you're doing only 2 hours of business a day, do 1 hour of income producing activity and 1 hour of learning something new, and you'll be okay.
Bam! Chris, any last success tip, strategy on producing, on prospecting, on hitting 5K affiliate? Any last little piece of nugget you can share with all of the affiliates that are watching?
Absolutely, yeah. And there's one last thing. I've shared it before. I'll share it again because this is huge, guys. One of the things that I am a big component of is a morning routine. And I have 5 steps in my morning routine. And one of those steps is like putting good information in, right? Because you can't put out what you don't put in. And if I'm just watching cat videos all day, I have no good information. So what I do is usually listen to an audiobook or a podcast. But when I got started in this new company with new trainings, new products, new presentations, new things to learn, what I did for myself that truly I believe is the reason I can speak so powerfully and elegantly about what we do here is for a whole month straight, every morning for at least an hour, not including the additional trainings at night that were live, I was watching Power Team recorded trainings. I was watching how to get binary qualified. I was watching the fastest track to 5K. I was watching how to scrub and build a Facebook list. I was watching them all. Everything that's back there, success interviews like the one you're watching right now. I was watching Jody Judge and Jeffrey Judge. I was watching Nathan and Kendall. I was watching some of the other amazing leaders who I take from. Like you said, Kathleen, another amazing leader. I pull from everybody. What's working, I can add to what I'm doing, and I hope to do the same. You know, it's how we all grow. We all grow together. And so if you're getting started, if you're struggling, if you can't find momentum, number one thing is surrender to the system and follow it. But the second thing, and just educate yourself. An hour a day, get in there, start watching these trainings. If you can watch Aaron present like 6 or 7 times, it's going to improve the way you present and communicate. You know, you can't stick your hand in a bucket of glue without pulling some off when you lift your hand back out, right? It's stuck to you. Can't do anything about it. The same thing's going to happen, whether it's subconsciously or consciously. It's going to be subconsciously at first, but listening to Aaron, listening to his energy, listening to the way he presents, listening to the way he speaks and communicates and actually, you know, drives the flow of what he's doing is going to help you tremendously when it's your turn. And yes, it's not going to be great the first couple of times you do it, but the more you listen and learn and the more you take action on what you're learning, before you know it, you're going to be the next big thing in network marketing.
Woo! Dang, I love that. Did you guys hear that? And by the way, I've been in MDC for 2 years. For 2 years, we've been with this company, and I've never heard anyone say this. And it's something so simple, so subtle, but it sets your day up to put you in the right frame of mind. You're learning something new. You're going to get excited. And so this is a clue. You guys ever heard success leaves clues? Here's a clue. Chris just dropped a clue. Every morning, watch a power team training. We've got hundreds. You can go through this YouTube channel, go through all the videos. There's tons of interviews, tons of trainings. You'll learn something new from all of them. In the Power Team Facebook group, tons of trainings. I love it. I love it. There's Aaron Rashkin. Boom. He said this interview was the bomb. That is Chris's sponsor. Huge shout out to Aaron. By the way, in the comments of this video, I have the link to the interview that we just did yesterday with Aaron Rashkin on how he hit 25K affiliate. Make sure you watch that if you missed it. Guys, right now, in closing, drop some comments and share with us, what did you like best? What are you going to take from this training? And as I always say, it's so important that you apply, right? Everybody watching this, you just picked up something. There's something you're going to be able to extract from this interview with Chris. You need to now be able to consciously say, here's something I learned, and here's what I'm going to go do differently every day because of this. That's how you grow. That's how you level up. That's how you increase your results and you increase your success in this business. He showed up and learned how to be the best version of himself. I love it. Kathleen, another new 5K affiliate on the team. Amazing trainings every single time. Kathleen says you're on fire. The miracle morning. Love it, love it, love it. Take what he just said and apply it to your business. Absolutely. All right, Chris, my friend, listen, you're just crushing it. We're so grateful to have you on the team. Thank you for being here. Thank you for taking the time, dropping some value for the entire team, for the whole company. This is public. So for everyone who's watching, once again, give it up for Chris Celeste, brand new 5K affiliate. Drop some love, drop some hearts, drop some comments. Chris, my friend, thank you, thank you, thank you. And you are going to the top. And we'll be seeing you soon. We'll, unless something happens, we got convention coming up. We'll be in Vegas.
Yes, we will.
You'll be walking that stage, getting some awards. Now, is it going to be a 5K award? Is it going to be a 10K award?
No, well, let's see. That's August, so that'll be 25K.
25K, there it is. 25K.
Yeah.
He's coming for it. Let's go. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate you, brother.
Thank you. Have a good one.
You too. All right, my friends, thank you for being here. This is yet again just another powerful interview with another, yet again, success story on the Power Team. This is what we love to do, is to highlight, to feature, and to share knowledge and information and success secrets with the world. For those of you watching this on YouTube, which is all of you, what I want you to do to make sure you don't miss any of our future trainings is to click subscribe. When you do, make sure you click the bell so that when we post new videos, you get notified. You have to click the bell. All right, share this video. Somebody you know needs to hear this. Share it with them. They will thank you for sure. We'll see you next time.